everyone, welcome to Get Ready with me, Louise. I'm so excited. I have a little bit of time, so I thought, why not film? I did get a couple of new products. Some of it is like new, and some of it's just new to me. So I wanted to let you know about them because I find them quite interesting, to be fair. So, first thing is let's go over what I'm wearing on my face. So I am using the Milk as I drop it. Of course I do. The Milk Hydro Grip Gel Tint. I like this, but I feel like I like my tint Idôle better. That Lancôme one I got with the skin caring ingredients. This one here as a skin tint. I feel like I like it better than this. But I would say that they're both kind of in the same, things. So whatever one's going to work. But I think out of preference, I do like my Lancôme a little bit more than I like my Milk makeup. But I find them both to be good skin tints as far as that goes. And I think the color is really good for both of them. I got 28N and number 7. So I think they both work with what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So, and then for concealer, I'm just wearing my Natasha Denona concealer, which, by the way, I am like almost out. Like, I was scraping, not this one. I don't know where it went now. I have a backup though, so I do have that, but I was kind of like scraping. So I'm almost out of that one, which is impressive considering like I don't ever go through foundation really or concealer, but I went through that. I set the under eyes with my Stay Matte by Rimmel. I've been using this for a long time, nothing new there. And then the rest of my face I set with the Ulta Beauty Adjustable Coverage Foundation Wet Dry Press Powder. So I got this one, Clarence, at Ulta, and I got it for $1.40. Now they came out with it, it's now in white packaging, but you can still get it. Mine's in light neutral, and I use it as a setting powder for the rest of my face. It does give a little bit of coverage, so that's nice. But I think it works for what it does, you know what I mean? And for $1.40, you can't beat it. Now, for the regular price, it says it's $14. I think it still is. So, even for $14, it's not bad, really. I would still buy it. To be fair, if I ran out, I would buy it. So, there's that. But I've got so many goodies from Ulta Beauty. Like, it's almost become, like, my number one thing there, to be fair. Like, we had to, queue a new event. Basically, that happens on, like, a Sunday. And, Ulta Beauty was it a couple of weeks ago. And, I was pushing it, y'all. Like, I bought my own stuff, too. Don't get me wrong. But, like, I was like, this is my favorite, and this is my favorite, and this is my favorite. And I even have a new favorite now. So, I'm so excited to share that with you all in a minute. So, for bronzer, blush, and highlighter, y'all, did you see the new Hourglass palette's going to launch for holiday this year? Oh, the artwork is so pretty. But it got me thinking, you own them. Stop buying them. Stop buying so many, which last year I didn't buy them all. To be fair, I think I bought, was it 2? I think I bought 2 of 3. So I think I did really good there. This year, though, I may be buying them all, but we'll see. But the Dragon palette is what I used today. And I used this here for the bronzer, this one here for the blush, and that for the highlighter. I know that this is pricey, 100%. But to be fair, if you're not like me and you're a normal human being, you're not crazy like myself, you would purchase one of these, right? And I feel like one of these would last you the year. Like, you're not going to use it every day, right? If you did, no, it's not going to, I don't feel like it would last you the whole year because the bronzer would run out. I feel like the options in the blush and the highlighter absolutely would last you. But the bronzer would you'd go through it. But with that said, I think it's worth it because you would use it for the whole year. So you're getting your money's worth. Me personally, because I've got a larger collection, no, I don't necessarily go through them, but I will say that I do get my money out of them for sure. Like the Ghost palettes, the Ghost Edit palettes, if you remember those, like I've already went through the bronzers in those. So I did kind of pass the rest of that along, but I do get my money worth. You know what I mean? So I do think in that at that aspect it is worth it. Now don't get me wrong, the Ulta Beauty again, these little guys are just as good for a fraction of the price. So that's basically why I grabbed that also, because I was wanting to exactly see the difference. If you like this, I feel like if you like this and you want the best there is out there, then it would be Hourglass. You know what I mean? If you're willing to splurge. But if you're just wanting your makeup done and to have that look, you know what I mean? These are going to get the same thing. So there is a difference though. The Hourglass is very much, it's a buildable formula. You really cannot, you can't go overboard. You can't mess up type of thing, right? With the Ulta Beauty, there's a little room for error. Not much, but a little. You know what I mean? You could go overboard with it, with the pigment in it. But like, chances are you're not going to, because you're going to notice it. You know what I mean? But that's really the only difference. You know what I mean? The way it lays on the skin and all that is the same. So again, it's preference. It's what you're willing to spend. I find the Hourglass is worth it. I find the Ulta Beauty is worth it. So there's that. For lip liner, Ulta Beauty came out with a new lip liner, and it's got like a brush on one end, and then the lip liner, it's called the Sculpting Lip Liners. And this particular one I'm using today, I bought a couple of them. This one's in Mocha Bean. I kind of thought it was fitting to go with the Café, you know what I mean? But you can see the points like a diamond almost. Well, is it a diamond? Triangle. Yeah, it's more like a triangle or teardrop type of thing. And the brush is nice for blending it if you didn't want to use a brush of your own. It is soft. It blended lip liner nicely. I have no complaints with that. And then for after I lined and kind of blurred the lip liner in, I went in with the lip tint by Ulta Beauty in, I think it is it Sanga Splash? Sangia Splash? I don't know. This one, something Splash. This is one I used. And I tinted like this part of it. I let it dry, and then I put on the Pat McGrath lip gloss in Earth Angel, just in the center. Put my lips together, and there we go. This will last all day. Like between that lip liner and the lip, of course the lip tint's going to last anyway. But, and then the gloss, it will wear off, but it wears off so nicely, and it makes my lips feel nurturized, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I don't know. I just don't like a dry lip, and those aren't like the NYX, the Lip IV. These go on very wet, but they dry down. If you leave them like to settle, they'll dry down. Or you can just leave it for a second and blot it off, depending on how pigmented you wanted your tint. You know what I mean? I completely let them dry, to be honest with you. I don't blot them off. And then I just add a lip gloss. And like I said, it lasts all day. Alright, so that is it for my face. Let's get started on the eyeshadow palette. This is such pretty packaging. Of course, my fingerprints are all over it. But it's dark brown on this side and then a lighter on this one. And then this is the palette. And I do think you get a variety in here as far as looks you're going to get. Obviously, it's kind of a basic palette. You probably have these colors 10 times over. But with the packaging, and I think it would be a good palette for you to have, as far as like you will use it. There's no color that's intimidating or anything like that. And it does give you a little bit of creativity but it's not necessarily a necessity. I will say I like the formula. I like the eye look. I can see me using this um, quite a bit, to be fair. But let me show you how the palette goes. So we're going to go into this shade. I didn't use very many colors, I'm not going to lie. Partly because I have time in a way, but like I don't have time. So I really didn't get to like play with this. But I used enough to get my thoughts around it. And I do actually like Lancôme's eyeshadow formula. I think it's easy to use as far as that goes. Again, it's preference on what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Generally, they don't come out with like these big palettes like this, except for at holiday and like a gift set type of thing. So I do like the fact that they have came out with something. I'm just using my refer brush in number 16, just to sort of lay down this color and get the look started. And again, it blends easily, it builds nicely, the whole 9 yards. I personally picked it up for the packaging. Not gonna lie. Packaging can get me. I'm not gonna lie on that one, you know what I mean? And then when I opened it and I saw the color story, I was like, darn. There goes my check. But I will not, to be fair, there was a lot that came in that day, so, I kind of purchased a lot. More than I needed to, but at the same time, I do like to try out new things, just to, because I don't want to steer anybody in the wrong way, so I feel like I have to try it in a way so that, like, when people know what they're looking for, I can help, because I don't want to steer anybody in the wrong way. And I don't want them to have to bring it back and go through all that, So, but as you can see, that color blends out really pretty. It's a nice contoury color for my particular skin tone. And we're going to take that same shade and stamp it across the lower lash line, and then I'll blend it out. Take it down a little too far. It's alright though. I will say it's a pretty brown color. Again, these shades you definitely have in other palettes, but most likely. But if you didn't, or if you're like me and like the theming and like the packaging, it might be a palette for you to go. You know what I mean? I was going to go into the next deepest brown right here, but I decided to go into this, like, what would that be? It's purpley, but it's got a little bit of like pinky red to it. It's really pretty. Berry. That's what it is. So I do like the fact that you can go neutral or berry with this palette. Again, options. It does have a nice mirror in it, a good sized mirror to be fair. So there's that too. And again, I'm using a refer brush here. 13. The brush I used previously for the lower lash line is an It Cosmetics brush, the smudger. And it was a collection, a back to school collection. It's kind of funny because we're getting ready to go back to school, so everybody's setting up. Both my jobs are actually for back to school. And I'm like, already, man. And then at Marshall's, we've already put out like Halloween stuff when I went in yesterday, I think. No, the day before. A big skeleton was sitting inside of a thing, like popping out over there. It was huge, the skeleton was. And it's cute, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm assuming it's like made for an outside, like a porch or something. But I love when I see people go all out for Halloween. I do. And same with Christmas. Like, I would love to do it, but it's like I just don't have the time. And if I got it up, I don't think I'd ever want to take it down. I'm not gonna lie. I'm that type of person. Because if I like it, like, I'd want it way longer than I would need it. Like, Halloween would probably come down in summer. Like, seriously. But again, you can see how well this blends into the previous color and that it is buildable and all that good stuff. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. And I do like me a berry tone look. Not gonna deny that. It does go from light to dark. I like that about it. But again, y'all know that what gets me is something shiny. And I do think the metallics in here are giving just enough. I do think if I applied it wet, it would have been even better. But here we are. I'm using the Refer 21. And we're going to go into this shade right here and pick it up. I will say I did get a little bit of fallout, but I was kind of being reckless. So we're going to be a little bit easier on this eye and see if I still get fallout. And I'm just going to pat it. Because I was trying to hurry with that eye so I could get the two filming. And I was just going to do a whole video of full face, but I thought there's no way that anybody's going to have enough time to watch that. So, because it takes me forever to do my makeup. So this is just with me sort of picking it up and patting it down and moving it around. It's a very light wash. But even with that, there's a decent amount of pigment with that color. We are going to build it up to give it a little more oomph. Because we all know how I like more is more when it comes to the eyes and the metallic and sparkly shades. I got very little fallout this time on this eye. But I was much more careful too, so there's that. Alright, and then for the inner corner, we're going to go into this shade right here. And just pop it on the inner corner here. You know what? It may have been this shade that gave me fallout. Now that I'm thinking about it. No. I was just really not easy with the other eye and got a lot of fallout. But I do think all these colors go well together too. I don't think it matters like which way you go with it. I think you'll be just fine. And I use the Tarte Fake Awake, the cream one for the waterline. And that's all I did as far as the eye look goes. Again, you could have used more colors. I could have lined. I could have did a lot of things. You know, I just wanted to kind of get a feel for the shadows so that I could let you know. Then, Ulta Beauty came out with the new mascara. So, this is called Pop Star Lashes High Definition Voluming Mascara. Okay, cute packaging, yellow, bright yellow. Ulta Beauty's in orange. But, check this out. To open it, you click it down. And you open it. How cool is that? Now, I will say a lot of product does come out from this wand, in my opinion. So I am kind of going to scrape it a little bit. And again, it is kind of wet. I got the shade brown. I don't know how that, it's not actually called brown. I'll tell you what it's called in a minute once I clean off the wand a little. It is called chocolate brown. And I didn't know this may be the only shade it comes in, to be fair. I don't know. But I thought it was just going to come in black because it is a new mascara. And generally when somebody comes out with a new mascara, it's usually just always in black. However, they could have came out with it, it'd be black and brown. I do not know. Because I didn't know until I just opened it that it was brown. Should probably pay attention to stuff, but I don't. But I will say that I do like this mascara, the way it goes on. It makes my lashes look like I have no complaints there. I don't know how it's going to wear yet, if it's going to transfer. I don't think it's going to flake, or already would have. And I'm more concerned with the transferring anyway, because 9 out of 10, that's what mascaras do to me. I should have curled my lashes also, but I did not. And I'm actually putting it on the lower lash line too. I do think that it is a true chocolate brown, which I love that, especially, you know, going into fall. I love me a brown for, well, I love me a brown all the time, but for some reason, really in fall and like summer, even spring, because I tend to wear less makeup, so I feel like brown just is the right balance. Where in the winter, sometimes I tend to really cake it on. So, you know, I feel like black is a little bit better then. But it's just preference, really. But I do think it's a pretty color. It's definitely, you know, giving me volume. I think it's even giving me length, to be fair. But, you know. So far, I like it. I don't know, again, how it's going to wear, though. That I'll have to get back to you with. I will let you know. Trying to make sure I get them on my lashes. And as it opens, it might dry out a little more, but like I said, right now I am taking it and scraping it off as I pull it out. So it is kind of making a mess, but I feel like it will dry out, you know what I mean, over time. And then you just click it and it's closed. Like, I do think that's cute. Is it a necessity? No. But is it something different? Yes. So it's up to you. They have quite a few mascaras, to be fair. I don't know how I feel about all of them. I've tried a couple, not all, obviously, because I don't do that. I don't go through that much mascara, really. But well, you would assume I would, because I don't do lashes either. But anyway, you know, I haven't used a lot of them. I have my favorites. I got my Gucci and I got my YSL. You know what I mean? But I will say that if this wears well, it would definitely be worth the price point. But if it wears well and dries out some, it could become one of my favorites. This brown, in particular, the brown. So there's that. And I'm just getting where I touch my lashes. Try to separate them a little bit. And then I look down. Of course I did. And I do like it on the lower lash line too. Like, I think my lower lash line looks pretty. And again, I could have put a little more on it to really, you know, show my lower lash line, but half the time I haven't even been putting it on, even though I don't think it looks right without my lower lash line. I'm too lazy, to be fair. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. But overall, I think it's a really pretty palette. And the newer products that I use, like the mascara, the lip liner, that's all I use that was new. I think they're home runs. I'll let you know how the mascara wears. I'll let you know how about the lip liner too. It is a matte, it feels matte, blah, 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 if I can talk. It felt matte as I was drawing it on, but it felt creamy and then turned to matte. Let me rephrase that. It wasn't dragging or anything like that. But as I went to start to blend it in, I realized that it was drying down a little bit. So I'm hoping that that means this will wear well. Generally, that's what happens with me if that happens. So I'm hoping it is a long-lasting lip liner. Mascara, yeah, lip liner. And again, I did get other shades. I think there was 6 shades, I think, in total. I got 2 so far. But again, the price point, you cannot beat it. Like, you just can't. This is the other Ulta mascara, the New Heights Lifting Mascara. I don't think it lifts. It's not bad. I just don't think it lifts, personally. And I believe that that transferred. Just so you know. But I have very hooded eyes, so take that with a grain of salt. If you don't, you might be perfectly fine with it. So, anywho, that is all I have for you today. I hope this video helped. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it entertained you for a little bit. I definitely hope you always grab a snack and a drink for these videos because I know how long they are. A, I'm slow, and B, I talk. I know. But yeah, that's all I have for you. Let me know your thoughts down below if you purchase these, if you're going to. Let me know what looks you've done if you purchase this palette, because I'm curious. Like, I think you can get quite a few different looks personally, because there's several tones, so I feel like you could definitely create a good bit. But yeah, I just think it's so pretty. And if you've owned any of the Lancôme like palettes, because I do have a couple of them too, you'll like it. I would say this is actually better than that formula by a hair, but I think it's a really good formula in here. So, and let me know your thoughts on the new Hourglass stuff. Oh, I cannot wait. Like, I want it now. I was like, why did you show it to us? So, I want it. But we gotta wait. We gotta be patient. As soon as it launches, I am getting those palettes, though. I'm saving now. So I guess that's a good thing that they, let us know what it is so that we can start saving, because it is expensive. But I know for sure that I'm getting 2. I know. But, to me, it's worth it. But let me know your thoughts, and I will see you in my next video. I don't know when that'll be, but soon. I'll see you soon. You all take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.